Sasha Mercer was not a broken woman. She was a precise one, a sponsored mountain climber who had stood on peaks that most people could not pronounce. Norway was supposed to be just another summit, but on that ridge in the Jotunheimen range, when the ice cracked and Tommy reached for her hand, she made a calculation. She let go. Tommy fell. She climbed. She never told anyone the full truth, not the search team, not Tommy's family, not herself. 6 months later, she was on a flight to Australia with a single duffel bag and a kayaking route through Wandara National Park. She told herself it was penance. She told herself the suffering of isolation would settle the debt. She was wrong about the silence, and she was wrong about being alone. Ben found her on the second day. He came out of the scrub like he belonged there, which he did, and offered her local knowledge of the rapids ahead. Friendly, calm, disarmingly helpful. Sasha had spent years reading mountain terrain for hidden dangers. She was less practiced at reading people. Ben had a quality that predators often have. He reflected back exactly what you needed to see. To Sasha, he looked like competence, like someone who understood the language of solitude. She accepted his company for a single afternoon. That afternoon cost her everything. By the third morning, she found the rope, hidden, tied in a specific knot that had nothing to do with camping. She found the photographs next. Women, different ages, different nationalities, same trails, same national park, same beginning to what had been their last trip. Ben was not a guide, he was a collector. He had been running this ritual for 9 years. The authorities did not know his name. The women who could have told them never made it back to a signal tower. Sasha stood in the cold morning light of the Australian bush and felt something shift inside her. The guilt she had been dragging for 6 months began to crystallize into something harder, something colder, something useful. What followed over the next 22 hours was not the story of a frightened woman fleeing through the bush. It was something more unsettling than that. Sasha stopped running. She started thinking. She used every survival skill she had ever built on the mountains to dismantle Ben's advantage piece by piece. She anticipated his patterns. She reversed his traps. She turned the terrain from his weapon into hers. And in the end, when Ben stood in the beam of the emergency helicopter light with his hands bound behind him by the same rope he had prepared for her, Sasha did not feel relief. She felt something far more troubling. She felt nothing at all. Here is what this story does not tell you in the headlines. Sasha survived Wandara. She was hailed as brave, resilient, a hero. But she sat in that debrief room and answered every question about Ben with the same quiet efficiency she had used to survive him. And somewhere in the back of her mind was Tommy, his outstretched hand, the ridge, the choice. She had survived by becoming, for a time, the version of herself that let Tommy fall. Not a broken person, a precise one, who makes calculations, who lets go when letting go is survival. The wild did not heal Sasha. It revealed her. And sometimes the most terrifying truth in a survival story is not what the predator was willing to do. It is what the survivor discovered they were willing to become. If this story reached something in you, something real, then you already know why this channel exists. Every video here is built the same way. No filler, no wasted minutes, just the kind of story that asks you a hard question and respects you enough to let you sit with the answer. Subscribe if that is what you are looking for, because the next story is already waiting, and trust me when I say you will want to be here for it. Imagine the heaviest thing you have ever carried. Not a bag, not a box, a memory. The kind that wakes you up at 3 a.m. with your hands shaking and your mouth dry. Now imagine trying to outrun it. You pack your gear, you fly to the other side of the world, you push your body to the edge of breaking, and for a brief moment out there in the wild where there's nothing but water and rock and silence, you almost feel free. Almost. Because something in the bush is watching you, and it is not there to help you heal. Before I go further, I want you to ask yourself something. If you had made a terrible decision that cost someone their life, and you had the chance to disappear into the wilderness and pretend it never happened, would you? Because that is exactly what Sasha did, and the wilderness had a very specific answer waiting for her. Every person you pass on the street is carrying something invisible, a regret, a name they never say out loud, a face that appears every time they close their eyes. Sasha had all three. What happened in Norway was not an accident, it was a choice. And choices like that do not stay buried. They follow you into the Australian bush. They follow you into the water. They follow you until something worse than guilt finds you first.